Hey everybody, it's your old pal Ron Howard from xTreme Sequences bringing you Monday Minutes. This is going to be sort of a long one because we're going to look at the brand new release from xLights 2023.15. I'm on a Mac. Windows release was just a day or so ago, yesterday as a matter of fact, and the Mac release came out today. As you know, Mac has to go through this inspection because it is being approved by the Apple Store, so they I guess they take it pretty serious and want to make sure that they're not releasing products on the interweb that could be a problem. On the Windows side, you just take it, taking a risk. Not really. I just click OK to everything and download the software. You'll be fine. So the question is, it's Halloween. People are gearing up for their shows. They're gearing up for Christmas shows. Do I upgrade xLights or do I not? It's already working. Why do I change it? Why do I need to change xLights now? It's so late in the season. Well, guess what, kiddos? We're only on release 15 and it's October. Are you kidding me? Normally we'd be at 30 or 40 in the years past. Oh my gosh, who knows? But we have some new cooks in the kitchen. We have more people developing. We have some really great stuff in this release. I am really, really excited about some of this. A lot of it, I think I really have a good handle on what it's there for and what it does. And some of it's sort of, I'm not really sure. It might need a little help figuring out some things, but I will go over it. I'll show you the things that I think are the most notable. So let's take a look at the list. And you're going to want to watch this. And by the way, before we get going, as always, please smash that thumbs up to increase my algorithms for the channel so I can grow it. It's expensive taking the time I do to put together these YouTube videos for you. And also consider subscribing to the channel because that also boosts the algorithms. Yay! And it just makes me feel better. Yeah, that's good. All right, so let's take a look at this. This is 2023.15. And some things that we will talk about and some things that we'll dismiss. Not dismiss because they're not important, but because maybe that's just not important to what I do. But add Twinkly 3D model import. If you are a twinkly kind of guy or gal, then this might be important for you. Add auto label of timing tracks. This one's one of those nebulous ones, and I was trying to figure out why this would be important. So let's take a look at it. If I right click on the timing track, you're going to see that there's something a little bit new in here than before. This select timing marks, and then, if I click on this, there is an auto label timings. And you can click on this and you can say start label 1, end label 4. Why are you barking at me, xLights? Don't you even think about crashing. And you can overwrite existing labels. So if you wanted to start at label 1 and call each of these some specific naming convention, you certainly could. I think I might be able to use this. I do a lot of things with timings, and I'm always sort of just keying in what these are, but maybe I might be able to cut that time down just a little bit. So I'm going to cancel out of there. I think it's kind of cool. Let's look at something else. Let's look at auto option to lock effects on import. So some of you on the Windows side have been discussing this in the groups and sort of like, what just happened? I can't move my effects. I just imported a sequence and now I can't move a bloody effect. Okay, well, don't worry. We can fix it. It's not a big deal. And I could see the value of this for people that are just simply mapping in sequences, and then they're coming in here and they're looking at stuff, and then they do this thing. Oh no, what did I just do? I messed it up. And then you end up doing the Control-Z dance. And as you've seen in my other videos, doing Control-Z too many times, you might undo things you didn't want to undo, so you have to be careful. Was it 1, 2, or 3? And I don't know. So what's kind of nice about this is when you do import a sequence, and we take that from the zip file, and this opens up the dialog window here for bringing in these effects. Everything on the right is from the sequencer, everything on the left is your world. You will see that there is a new little button up here called Lock Effects on Import, and by default that is turned on. If you do not want your effects locked when you're importing, then turn this off. There you go. That's all you got to do. Then you can import. All right, let's move on. Now, you know, if you have locked effects in here, I can right click and lock, or I can unlock. I can also select all and then right click on any one of these and unlock all of them at one time. Locking keeps it from being moved. Can you still mess with the attributes? Sure you can. So if I lock this, just so you see, I'm going to lock this one effect, and then if I want to change it from left to right to left, it lets me do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and unlock it. There we go. Now I can move it. Let's move on. Allow navigation of sequence settings metadata. So I'm not real sure about this one. This could be interesting for sequencers that sell sequences. If you can go into the code and look at the sequence settings metadata, maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. I'm going to need more information on that. The next one, add support for the base show folders with inherited controllers and models. This is a big one. So I'm going to offer a word of caution if you're a sequencer that sells sequences or you're in a lot of different show directories. Make sure you fully understand this before you go in here and messing with this. I'm going to show you what this looks like, and then I'm going to hypothesize what I think the value of this is. In your controllers, we know that we have a change permanently and a change temporary show directory. My permanent show directory is Users xTreme Desktop Christmas 2023. That's what I'm mostly in. That's what my show is in. That's what I'm creating Christmas sequences in, which I do more predominantly than Halloween or other sequence genres. But there is a way to create a home show folder, and this is going to be in your preferences. So if we're looking for this section on the base show folder, you would come in here and you would click on View. And in here, you're going to see some things you haven't seen before. Now, most of this is the same, except two things. We'll get to this player marker position in a moment. But this Enable Base Show folder settings, you can see when I did that over here, this changed. So now what you can do, I'm going to scoot this over, is you can change this. If you want this to be something else, you can change this, set it to that folder, and then you can even click on the auto update on load and hit update. Now, when I decided to back out of this and force quit xLights is when it started showing me all these errors saying, hey, this house F48 Falcon controller, this doesn't seem to mirror or jive with something else in another show directory. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, is this trying to tell all of the worlds I'm in that this is the main show folder for everything? And I went, ooh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. I have a lot of show directories I work in, and I need to keep them separated. But for somebody who has a home, and maybe they have a Halloween show and a Christmas show, and they just want to ensure that they have that one base show directory that has all the music, all the images, all the videos, all that stuff, this might be a good answer. But I'm going to tell you right now, I need more details on this. I'm sure Keith or somebody will create a video explaining exactly how this works. I would say until you fully understand it, be careful with it. And if you watch this and you're in the know, drop a line in the comments, say, hey, Ron, this is what it does. And we would all really appreciate that. All right, beautiful. Let's get to this other thing while we are here. And that, I'm going to turn this off. That is the marker position timeline zooming. This is really cool. Now, maybe the developers have seen some of my videos where I talk about how cool it is to use the zoom mouse. At least on the Mac, you can certainly do this by holding the Command Control key, and you would use the mouse wheel to zoom in and zoom out. Well, now it's made available for Windows and Mac to not only do that, but you get to decide, do you want that to zoom in based on the marker position, where the timeline marker is, or the mouse marker? I will tell you, I like the mouse marker position better, and let me show you why. So I'm going to click save here. Let me go back to my sequencer. So if my section I'm in is right over here, if this is my section and I hold down my command key and I use my zoom wheel mouse, it zooms in on that section. Okay. But if I want to zoom in over here on the guitar, I have to put the marker there and then I can zoom in there. What I would prefer to do is in my preferences, in the view, is change marker position to mouse marker position. There we go. And now in my sequencer, wherever my mouse is, it's going to zoom in there. So if I want to see that, there. If I want to see the end, there. And so I really like that. I think that's pretty cool. All right. All right, back at it. Here we are. Let's get to the next one. Add filter labels to shape effect. I was trying to figure out what this was for, and I got nothing. I mean, if I put an effect somewhere over here, there it is, and I scroll to the bottom of the effect, I can turn on, if I tell it to fire with timings, I can whoop-de-do, and then apparently I can register that. This is going to be another one I have no clue. So I'll turn that off, and I'll turn that off, and I will delete this. Somebody asked it for a reason. It must do something interesting. I just really don't know. So let's move on. Add filter labels to shape. In color tooltips, show closest color name. Again, this is one of these that I'm thinking, what am I missing? What am I missing? Color tooltips. There's nothing down here about that. If I go into a color, typically this is where you would hover around in here and have some relation with the naming. I mean, yeah, again, I just don't know. That one's going to need more work and explanation. Add duplicate effect. This one's pretty cool. Add duplicate effect could be very useful for sequencers or if you're mapping and you want to make changes. So let's just look at something like this guy here. If I want to make more of these, a lot of times, you know, I'll copy and then I'll paste, and it pastes it in that cell based on the time. Look at the duplicate. If I right click on this and tell this to, hello, duplicate right here. So we can split it as well if you wanted to make that two different ones. And where this could be really handy, just the split alone is kind of cool, is if I had one of these and I wanted to split it, so I want it to go left to right, then right to left, that's an easy way to split that. But if I just want to duplicate it, and this is something that's new, it's kind of cool, is it brings up this little window here. Be careful, it's hard to see. If you're running dark mode, you might not see this window, and you can't make it any bigger. So I would love to see the window be able to pop up next to the effect. That would make it easier. You could tell it how many times you want it to duplicate, and you can set the gap to 0, which means it's going to set it next to each other. So I click OK, and it butts them up together. Okay. If I do the same thing, make sure we select it, right click, duplicate, and we want to, it drives me nuts, and we want to duplicate 2, but we want there to be a gap. It'll take the length of the entire effect, put that same amount of gap, and then space them out. If your timings are perfect, and there was a drum machine track and it's, you know, then I would feel comfortable doing this. Otherwise, I'm still going to copy and paste because these may not line up just perfectly. I can already see I nudged that one over and fixed. Okay. I do think that's pretty cool. Add visual indicator if model groups contains effects on visible or invisible layers, submodel strings, and nodes. This one's pretty cool and appreciated. Nicely done, Keith. If we look at the mega tree, So we have the mega tree, we double click, we have our submodels, and then we have the nodes. If I were to put an effect at the node level, let's just say 12, and let's just put that there. Maybe not there. Let's put you over here and scoot you. Well, let's do that at the strand level. Let's not mess with the nodes. Here we go. Let's put this at 13. There we go. So now we can see we have, at the strand level, we have an effect. And sometimes people will do this on accident. I know in the past I've done things where I've just been goofing around and I forgot where I put it. And next thing you know, and I see people all the time, they're like, hey, I've got this weird thing going on. And I don't know if it's a bad pixel. I don't know if it's overlap. Is there an FPP setting I need to fix? And a lot of times, I've helped people with this over the years. It's just because they had an effect deeper down. So what will happen here is you see this little line right here, this color line. This is telling you that there are effects on every one of these layers. What I think would be interesting is not only that, but possibly have a different color that would tell me that there's something beneath it. This doesn't tell me there's anything beneath it. I only know that because I can see it. If I double click on this, on the mega tree, and I scroll down, where I see, oh, whoa, how did that get there? I mean, it's a visual, but I would see the effect maybe anyway, unless I had something like this, and I wasn't seeing it. This will always tell me the layer that it's on, even if I'm not zoomed in. So I think that's kind of cool. It's at least a good reference to help you troubleshoot. And now I can delete that, and it's gone. Get back up to our mega tree, close this puppy down. Let's get on to the next one. It is pretty cool though. Add duplicate, visual indicator, add visual hint, visualizer if pixels per port makes 40 frames per second impossible. Yes, I know everybody talks, should 40 frames be the holy grail for a light show? Should 100 frames per second be it? Sure, yeah, yes, please. Please set yours to 100 frames per second. Really? I mean, you could try it. Go ahead, watch those render speeds. Watch the file size of your FSEQ files and have a lovely day, sir and ma'am. But I digress. What's the deal with this? I think this is pretty cool because for those that really are conscious about frames per second, or they're just worried that they may have too many pixels on output, I totally get it. I totally get it. So what I've done here is, and I don't have any of that in mind. In a moment, you're going to see here that I have put a Gilbert Engineering USA Preem Cube way up top in the sky here. That's not where it's going to be. It's only for today's practice, kiddos, so don't worry, I will eliminate it. And I have put this on the Yard Left Falcon F16 V4. So if we go into the controllers and we look at my house F48 and we go into the visualizer, what we're looking for here is, do we see anything of concern? And usually a dark color red can be concerned. Not to be confused with any of these colors here that simply just separate these sections every 4, right? Don't worry about that. But on this Yard Left F16 V4, we're going to see something very interesting. Everything looks clean here. Now I put that 900 node cube over here, and look at this. Now we've got a big old square barking at us, and it's going to tell us something. If we hover over it, if we hover over all right, give you a second. You know, it's so funny. There we go. You just have to be patient. Look at the very last line on here. Too many pixels for 40 frames per second. In the estimated current draw on that output's 49.5. 40 frames per second is the least of your concerns at this point. You about to blow a fuse. But it illustrates the point that if you have exceeded the number of possible pixels on a port, no matter what your controller is, xLights is going to give you a warning and say you might want to reallocate your layout for this model if you're trying to get 40 frames per second. Now, if I have a port or ports that don't work with 40 frames per second, does that stop all the ports from working with 40 frames per second? No, but then again, that may depend on your controller. Mileage may vary, so do your due diligence and find out for sure. But anyway, this would be a problem. So I'm going to fix that problem right now in my layout very easily by clicking this and deleting it, and I don't want it anymore. See ya, wouldn't want to be ya. There we go. Let's look at the next thing. Yes, you go over there and do your thing. Oh, did I just lose my notes again? I did. I just want things to stay on the top window. There we go. All right, going down the list. Oh my goodness, there's so much in this release. It's pretty cool though, I have to say. Let's go to this next one here. Add option to fade piano keys on press. I think that's going to be kind of cool. I have a sequence this year with piano effects on there, and I think having a fade on there will look cool. Add option timeline zooming to mouse. We already looked at that. Add key bindings for various toggles of render. I'm not a key binding kind of guy, so you go at it. Allow blank effect types to match all effects in select effects. So if you're selecting effects up under your windows, that would be windows, or actually, let me get in here. Let's be a view. Windows, select effects. If you're trying to use that, that will give you, I guess, blanks to be run across it. Let's read it one more time. Allow blank effect type to match all effects in the slide. Okay, good. I probably will never do that. Show models with effects when trying to make it master or when opening a sequence containing missing models. Yeah, this is interesting. So in my sequencer, if I right click on edit display elements and I go over here and let's say I've made some changes and I'm on my, my main sequence view and I add some canes or something like that, then I click make master. This is now going to tell you something. 4 models had effects, were not removed. Windows Matrix 1, 2, 3, and 4. Are you okay with that? Yeah, I'm okay with that. So it's just giving you more insight when dealing with the master view. Did that hurt anything by doing that? Nope. All right, let's keep going. Increase BBB max pixels to 1600. Yay. Add Genius Pro controller. Okay. I don't have one of those. Add option to keep size and location of models being replaced. This is a big one. And I would say that this is probably one of my favorite releases for a feature since Marion Cherry did some things with the submodel creations. This is going to help a lot of people. If you have ever had to replace a model with a model, you know that certainly in the 3D world, 2D world, you have to manually move it. Not anymore. So I'm going to illustrate this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take, let's just take this guy here, and I am going to export xLights model, and I'll put this on the desktop, and I'll save this. It's going to say, do you want all these submodels? Yes. Click OK. And that puts the X model on the desktop, and it suitcases, or I would say encapsulates, all the submodels with it. So there are times you may make changes to submodels, or you have the wrong one, and you've already established your output, your controller connection, channels, this, that, and the other. You've got it put in place just where you want it, and you don't want to mess that up. So if I wanted to replace this with the one I just output, I could simply click on the import button here, drag a box anywhere, then I would click on that King Ransom X model, click open, and it's going to say model groups already exist. Would you like to add this to the existing groups? Yes. What I'm going to do is, if you right click on this, you can replace a model with this model. And by doing so, it's going to ask you what's the old model you want to replace. And that's going to be the GE King's Ransom. Let's find you. It's alphabetical, Ron. This is not that hard. GE, there we go. King Ransom 1. So the one I imported, I want it to replace the original GE King Ransom 1. And watch what happens when I do this. Yes. Should I copy the replacement start channel? Yes. You want it to be on the same controller? Yes. Merge the submodels? That would be good, sure. Use the original position? Nah, I like moving things in 3D. It's just fun. Yes. It's thinking. It's thinking. Oh, it's done. Yay. So while that took a few seconds to do that, it would have taken a whole lot more few seconds to actually move the model and get it exactly in place where the last one was. So then we click save and then we're good. I think that is really, really cool. And if we go to our sequencer, you know, all the King's Rants, actually, I don't think I have any effects on that just yet. Anyway, but that is a very appreciated add to the code. That's great. And that's from D. Julian, I believe. Oh, wait, hold on. No, who's that from? No, Dartunder. Don't know who you are. Thanks. All right, fix buffer stagger, disable if effects drop using key bindings. Don't know, don't care. Fix sketch effect, check sequence not reporting missing images. Thank you. Fix marquee effect in release builds, calculating correct buffer size. Thank you. Fix Falcon V4 upload of sequences. Don't use it, but thank you. Fix current calculations in visualizer for multi-light nodes. Fix current calculations in visualizer for multi-light nodes. Okay, I think that's helpful if you're using multi-light nodes. Fix ES Pixel Stick 3.2 upload. Man, I haven't used one of those since 2017 when I was just goofing with it, but they're pretty cool. Inexpensive and wireless, and they work pretty well for great applications where you need wireless. Folks, thank the xLights team. Thank the developers. Let them know you appreciate their efforts. They have lives. They have families. They have other jobs. They do this on their time and on their dime. So hopefully, you know, you taking some coin from your pocket and hand it over to the xLights development team and drop them a line. Let them know that, you know, hey, as a user of xLights, I appreciate it. And if you're a vendor, if you're selling sequences and you're not thanking xLights, and you're not thanking FPP if you use FPP, and you know, I love them both. You know, show a little attitude with your gratitude this year. Folks, that's it. I'm Ron. This has been Monday Minutes. See you later.